And maybe one of the first things to mention is that if we look at a lot of AR applications, is that it's a lot focused on the device, on the marker, on the medium. What a lot of artists are very interested in is what does the audience or the spectator feels? What does this person experience? So instead of having the focus on the thing out there and looking at it through your mobile phone, for instance, or through your laptop, it's much more the question, what does the spectator see? So what we have been doing, besides AR tracking and markers and all whatnot, we have been very much looking into tracking people in space, in three-dimensional space. And one of the things we have been working with a lot, they're laser scanners. They're very precise, and it's on a 10 meter, it's like 1 meter accuracy. It scans in a 2D plane, and if you have multiple, you can have 3D applications with it. So we also developed some software that is easily implementable for artists that want to use these things. So this is an example of something that's very standard in the industry, that is used in a lot of factories to check production flows and whatnot. And we try to take that and bridge it to the artist practice. I'll show you an example. I show you two examples actually of where this is used. And this artist wanted to make an interactive film, and it's a little movie that is actually shot at the Deaf Festival in 2004.
オランダ第2の都市ロテルダム。先頃この町で開かれたアートフェスティバルで見つけたユニークな作品を紹介します。
So at the Deaf Festival, approximately 10,000 people come. We have conferences, we have installations.
男の人が走っています。ベルトコンベヤーの上に乗ってまるでエクササイズマシンみたい。 スクリーンに映し出されているのはロテルダムの街ですかね。
So okay, what do we see? We see a treadmill, and the laser scanner is in front and is measuring very precise where the person is, and accelerate or deaccelerate the treadmill and brings the person back into the middle of the belt. And so, what was the intention of the artist? Really dealing with man, machine, man, and cinema, and trying to get people involved into a cinematic experience. And as you can see, it's a huge screen. It's nothing. It has nothing mobile to it. It's really like trying to be immersive, and it's also dangerous. People break things in that if they don't watch out. I mean, it's really engaging, and especially boys between 18 and 25, they break things. So, the next thing, we got asked by Strozzina, this is in Firenze, to apply almost the same concept and make walks through the city. So what we did there is we used the techniques you know, or well, what runs behind photosynth, like the mapping of multiple pictures. The very classical example is the San Marco Piazza in Venice. But we did the reverse. We asked to all the students of the Art Academy to go out and take pictures. And with the University of Darmstadt, we rendered everything into point clouds. So instead of having an interactive walk that represents the city in such a way that you really see a photo representation of the city, no, we just did the thing around. It was a beautiful result, and in the end it's very detailed, so you can walk through clouds of pixels and you really can see the whole city. last example with the laser scanner. This is something dealing with also the spectator and the screen and the wish to be immersed in the screen. And something we cannot do while watching. We cannot zoom in with our eyes. If we want to zoom in, we have to go closer. But zooming is a very common property in film. So what we did is we doubled basically, if somebody stepped to the screen, we doubled that with a zoom in the screen. So you really like completely immersed. So some children, if they walk through that screen, you will see they really fall on their back. So when you touch your nose, when the screen touches your nose, the image is gone. And then if you step back, you get the idea. Another application to just see how far we sometimes go with one part, one idea, is, okay, we have the point clouds, taking pictures, rendering that to point clouds. We had the laser scanner to track distances of people in an installation or in an environment. So the next step we did with that laser scanner is to make a poor man's 3D scanner. Because a lot of artists always complain they don't have money. And if you have a 2D scanner, it's cheaper than having a 3D scanner. So what we did is we made a kind of open hardware project where we put this 2D scanner like tilted 90 degrees and let it make scans on a plateau and then render everything in points. So you cut back the cost of, I don't know what a 3D scanner costs nowadays, but that's like a tenfold of a 2D scanner. Another way of tracking people in space, and this is also for multiple people, is using a system with ultrasound. So here you have all tags in space, and the person or the spectator has one tag on his head or on the head-mounted display, and this is a project we did with that principle. This is 2007.
First, it's moving around in the real physical world that he sees through the cameras, and during the game we progress in this virtualness. And the gameplay element that we've added, just to have a stimulus of people moving around, we've added balls in space, little binds we call them, blob-like things that have some kind of intelligence. And the goal of the game is to walk around in this virtual world and collect all of these balls. And if you've collected more balls, you progress into the level of virtualness.
Nou, ik krijg interactief in één keer. Het lachen. Ze knallen ook tegen die pilaren of die virtuele ruimte bij inzitten. Dat is echt grappig.
Well, the innovation in this product is that we don't use a physical interface that you hold in your hands to control the virtual world, but we really observe how the player is moving and what he's really doing in this physical world, and then we use that as an input to change the environment.
We want to see if there's a correlation between the user experience and the speech that they have uttered. The other goal is to detect emotion from speech automatically. And in order to do that, we need to collect natural emotional speech data.
There's nothing gentle about new technology. I think it is a little clash between the physical body and the life we lived before.
Okay, that was 2007. So, let's skip that one. Yesterday we also talked about authoring tools for artists. How can you make it easier to create things? And then I explained also that artists very much would like to work in the physical space and change something, think about it, turn it a little bit around again, and like that make progression. And this is a program we made, it's called Spasm, it's a spatial audio sound mixer. And out of one of the problems we had with the exercise and immersion project, making a soundscape or making sound or sound design for these kind of experiences are very frustrating. Because you make your sound, then you go to a program where you place them into the 3D space, then you have to render them, and then you execute them in some kind of game engine that has this spatial audio engine. So normally, people who make sound or play and are musicians, they want to instantly hear what they're doing. I mean, they don't want the delay of first program, and then, it's not good, let's do it again. So there is a huge gap between what the output is and what you try to do, and what you think is going to be like that. So this spatial audio mixer, everything goes real time. So you can feed in here at least 16 channels of audio, and you can also grab these balls and make them bigger and smaller. I mean, the principle of working with spatial audio. You have different kind of curves, how things come in and how things go out. So you can feed directly audio in it, and also you can mix directly. So ideally, I put somebody here in the space, and I can instantly decide that something is going to come from there and run around you, and then somebody else can say, okay, and now there comes a car, and I will let it cross that element through space. So this proved to be very helpful in making these kind of experiences. And everything is in real time. An interesting thing there to say is that this is running on Maximus P. Maximus P is a program by Cycling 74, and a lot of artists are using this. It's a programming language that is made easy, let's say. But what we now want to do is we want to import it to a new program, Ableton Live, which is really commonly used in the music industry, and to implement these kind of ideas in there, because most of the music is still produced in stereo. Let me skip that. Well, I mean, here then, this is another artist. He's called Tariq Bari, and he did a project. He added, basically on this kind of spatial sound mixers, also a kind of altering to place things in space, and you can do that also real time. So, yeah. As you can see, the quest for us in the lab is really to always bridge these things and see where the expectations lay in the industry, with the developers, and where the expectations lay with the artists, and try to see how we can let them communicate and come closer together. And yeah, that's what we do.